and welcome to Tom Myers versus the rest of the world. We're learning more and more about Donald Trump in his second term as president of the United States. For example, we now know that Donald Trump is the answer to the age-old question, who would be a big enough asshole to piss off Canada? Speaking of Canada, they now have a new prime minister, Mark Carney. It's nice to see Canada following our lead and going for an older chief executive. It's nice to see him trying to patch things up with us by trying to relate to us by electing a leader who, like Trump, looks like he's already decomposing.
Actually, yeah.
A lot has happened since the last time we were on this show. During Trump's speech, Congressman Al Green was escorted out of the chamber for heckling when Trump incorrectly said he had a mandate from the American voters. A black member of Congress being marched out is the perfect symbol for how far back the Republican Party wants to take this country. In a publicity stunt on the White House lawn, Trump pretended to buy a Tesla from Elon Musk. Of course, we all know he wasn't pretending because, much like his dealings with contractors and attorneys, no money changed hands. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that God blessed her with the job of press secretary. I think God is waiting to see if she should be drowned in the next incarnation of the Great Flood, which, according to the climate scientists, will happen in 3 weeks. Elon Musk's Doge agency is now making cuts to Social Security. Thankfully, we have someone speaking out on behalf of Social Security recipients. Unfortunately, it fell to the task of its most recent commissioner, Martin O'Malley. It's hard to get hopeful about Social Security being saved when it's being defended by Martin O'Malley, who, from his time as the governor of Maryland, could put people to sleep reading an erotic novel. On his Fox show, Jesse Waters was watching a video of Doug Emhoff and Kamala Harris going grocery shopping and wondered what kind of husband goes grocery shopping with his wife. This is par for the course for Jesse Waters, as any opportunity his wife has to not spend any time around her husband, she takes it. Jesse Waters is basically a dildo who was lucky enough to get his own TV show. Jesse Waters gives out an air of someone who only gets laid when his wife pegs him. In international news, there are protests in Serbia against their government, which is pro-Vladimir Putin and pro-Donald Trump. Donald Trump Jr. said that the protests were fake and that they were not genuine. This is from the guy who is engaged to Kimberly Guilfoyle, who looked like she had so much plastic surgery that her face was 100% plastic. And now, on with the show. Joining me to discuss this week's news, we have Polite Kitty, Sidney Allen, Alyson Chadwick, and David Kaye.
Hey, Tom.
Hi there.
Thanks for having me again, Tom.
Yeah. How's everyone been doing this week?
Yeah, we're getting traumatized more this has been the longest 3 months I've ever experienced.
Okay, I broke my humerus, the very top of it, and I've been told that's one of the most painful breaks you can have, and that's still less painful than watching the news.
I'm praying for a speedy recovery, Alyson. Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty bad, man. And for the first time, I see that one federal judge said, no, I'm not going to impeach. That's the first time I've seen a no in 3 months. And now I saw that they decided that the Doge may have violated some constitutional rights. I'm like, well, my question is, how did they get in there?
Are you talking about Doge in general, or how did they get in?
Yeah, like how did they get in the first place? They weren't even. I needed some help understanding how they even had the.
I'm still. You're right. I'm still having trouble trying to figure out how they have any authority to go anywhere, because is there even something that says this is a part of the government?
I've never heard of Doge.
I don't even know that.
I've never heard of Doge until 2025, my entire life.
I think it must be some executive branch authority where they can, I guess, deputize, for lack of a better word, any organization they want to have that authority, because otherwise they couldn't. I mean, I've worked for some federal agencies. They don't just let anyone come and be like, all right, we're going to tell you who and can and cannot come in. But Elon seems to know the hell he wants. Like,
It sounds like some real made up shit with some fancy words
yeah.
and a nice acronym.
Doge. Well, Doge only came into existence, like it was created when Donald Trump was inaugurated. So Doge is pretty much a part of the federal government in the same way that the open mic after the comedy show is a part of the comedy show. I mean, it has that much value and use to it.
I go a little further than that. I think Doge is as much as the federal government as the rats who live in the White House are federal employees.
Okay.
No.
Oh, no. Where we can deepen this.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Doge the equivalent of, like a fetus as a human? It doesn't really exist.
More like waste management.
Donald Trump loves repeating his talking points that he was likely still delivering his State of the Union speech while leaving the floor of Congress after the speech concluded, and on the way back to the White House, and entering the White House, and while succumbing to a food coma brought on by an extra helping of Big Macs. Among the many errors he makes in his statements are his comments about tariffs on Canada and Mexico being good for the American consumer. When Trump says the stock market responds well to tariffs, the stock market responds by going, "The fuck they do." When Trump said during his campaign, "Vote for me or your 401ks will go to hell," who knew he meant that as a campaign promise? And on a separate note, after a meeting with my financial advisor, this is the perfect chance for me to plug my Patreon, patreon.com/Tom Myers. Of course, then Prime Minister of Canada Justin Trudeau had to respond in this blistering, straightforward excerpt from a press conference.
Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
Oh, shit. He said that from the heart.
That was a Canadian burn.
Damn. He said
definitely.
He even called him man President Trump. He called him by his first name.
I have no words.
Finally, a world leader called out the emperor's lack of clothing, because he knows it. Every other world leader knows it. I can guarantee you, Vladimir Putin is ecstatic about it.
Very much.
Along with every other authoritarian and dictator in the world. This is finally, truth to power.
I mean, yeah, because boy, to really piss off Canada and for Justin to come out and just lay it out there, you're right. They're all ecstatic about it. Of course they are.
I can't be too harsh of pro-Trump members of Congress on this podcast because excessive biting criticism of straight cisgendered white men with power and money will cause the corporate overlords at Google to make me invisible on YouTube's algorithm. But since that means less people watching who will strike this video, let's have some fun. The only way these town halls would be more interesting would be if they took this country back to the 1600s and we burned members of Congress at the stake. So we'll let the constituents have their say, as we can see in this excerpt from a town hall held by North Carolina Congressman Chuck Edwards.
That all of those probationary employees be reinstated for at least 45 days, and then there would be another process to evaluate where we're at there. Yeah.
One more?
Just hold. I feel like this is not productive with everybody yelling at me. I mean, if you want to hear. Yeah. The questions are coming out of the box one at a time. I'm answering those for you. You're not going to like a lot of them.
You're not going to like my answers.
You certainly will have the right in the next election to cast your vote based off of what you hear.
What an idiot.
I dare you to fire me.
Wow.
Can I point out that a member of Congress is complaining that some other process is not productive? Like, has Congress been productive at all in the last 5 years?
Well, I mean, these members of Congress have had so much stuff shouted at them over the years that they probably think a heckle is similar to, how's the weather? Like it's just part of their ordinary conversation.
The only thing productive about that guy is his comb over.
Wow.
Just take that off.
That was way over. That was taking it from ear hair up.
I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't stop looking at it. I didn't even hear what he was saying. I couldn't stop looking at it. Just saying. He looked like that shady ass president from The Boys. That's what he looked like at first. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought he was at first.
I mean, to really get their attention, I would have loved to see his constituents yell out something like, "I've kidnapped your kid's dog! What are you going to do about it?"
Well, just cast your vote and we can get back to it later.
The fact that he's so tone deaf, even while people are screaming and yelling at him, and he does not, he is so completely brainwashed into the
well, this is what happens.
Sound bites.
Surrounded only by people.
Get past that.
It's when you're surrounded by people who are only there to please you and say yes, like his staff and his friends and he has friends, but the people around him are probably only his staff and he pays them. So like, yeah, you're great. Your ideas are great. They're going to destroy America, but they're great because you're great.
I called my PA representative here in Pittsburgh on Saturday. And I started out really nice, and it was just that I was just recording. Started out really nice, but by the end of it, I'm like, "Do something, you sons of bitches!"
Awesome.
and then I hang up the phone, and then moments later, I look at my phone, and here it pops up. It's my guy Chris Deluzio from my district, and all the good things that he said on Thursday. At the town hall meeting, and I'm like, oh shit, I completely missed the town hall meeting. I'm still bitching at him.
You're behind a few days. Catch up.
I know. I don't know why my pop-ups come up so late.
I went to a town hall with Nick LaLota, my congressman, and he's like, I want to hear from people who don't agree with me. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Every question is like, would you like to have unicorns and fairies and money for everyone, or do you want the status quo? I'm like, what are these questions? Like, they're so full of shit.
I mean, at least you're getting access to your member of Congress. Like in Maryland, I happen to have the only member of Congress who's a Republican, and his nickname is AWOL Andy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He has not held a town hall since 2017.
Oh dang.
And he came close to cursing out a reporter from the Baltimore Banner because he wrote something that wasn't 100% nice about him.
Oh.
Well,
Damn.
I just want to. I
Reporters.
want to applaud everybody who is now going to town halls because this is the new thing. This,
I think I might go to one.
Yeah.
We can see the deterioration of American governance already taking shape in the first month and a half of Trump's second term. Responding to a question about a measles outbreak in Texas that killed one child, here's Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. giving his assessment during a cabinet meeting.
There's a measles outbreak in Texas at the moment in which a child is reported to have died. Do you have concerns about that, and have you asked Secretary Kennedy to look into that?
Well, why don't we, Bobby, do you want to speak on that?
We are following the measles epidemic every day. I think there's 124 people who have contracted measles at this point, mainly in Kings County, Texas. Mainly, we're told, in the Mennonite community. There are 2 people who have died, but we're watching it, and there are about 20 people hospitalized, mainly for quarantine. We're watching it. We put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
You sound a little under the weather yourself right now. Are you
Really bad throat.
coughing?
Yeah, it might not be a good idea to have the person overseeing the nation's healthcare system.
Sounding like
it might not be good to have him have a sickly cough while downplaying an outbreak.
Yeah, I mean, good job on Felon 47, like just assisting the passing the question right on to him. Did I hear him call? He called that man Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Man, but he said, Bobby, you want to get that? Like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then he over there, he sounds like he smokes a carton a day of cigarettes.
A carton an hour. I think he's just sitting there.
I mean,
He's like, no, don't worry, I'm fine. Get the
Meanwhile,
defibrillator stat.
Yeah, seriously.
It's himself.
I wouldn't even want to be around him without a mask on. I don't like that. I ain't like how he looked.
For a guy
you sound like I got to wear a mask.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be in the same room as him, I'm wearing a mask. Yeah.
I don't even watch him on TV and not have a mask on. I mean, I think he's
He looks like he was born in the sun. Like
he's born on the sun.
Either or, yeah. He looks pretty bad. And sounds it.
I was going to say the worm in his brain got to him because I'm
it's all
pretty
the
sure
bear meat.
he's confusing chicken pox and measles. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
Sir, take a Benadryl, some hot lemon water, and go sit the fuck down somewhere. Stay away from people for at least 6 months.
I love the fact that another cabinet member is like, "Boy, you sound like shit."
It's just from that whale whose head I took off.
Man,
sorry,
guy.
Right.
I was like, the man was breathing.
What I love about these people is though the most embarrassing things about them, like the whale or the bear or the worm or Christy Noem's puppy she killed. Like these are things that we didn't dig them up through op-ed research. They just wrote about them in their books. Like, yeah, I killed a puppy.
Yes, they're very proud of me.
Wait a minute, who killed a puppy?
Christy Noem. She shot Cricket, her 13-month-old dog. Like instead of rehoming him, she's like, just shoot him.
She was the governor of South Dakota, and she's now head of the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, and then she shot a goat in the same pit that she put the dog in. So
once you get a taste for shooting things in pits, it's hard to stop. It's fun. It's like Lay's potato chips.
So we have we have a what is she again?
Director of Homeland Security.
So the director of Homeland Security moonlights as a fucking serial killer? Is that what you're telling me? Because that's what it sounds like.
Well, just
for animals.
That's the beginning stage.
For now. Yeah.
That's the beginning stage. Yes. So
I think that's where Wendy started.
I'm a therapist. Yes. We look for animals.
It starts with animals.
They start with animals.
Polite polite kitty will tell you, as soon as she starts wetting her bed, we're fucked.
That's it. Yeah. That's the next step. That's phase 2.
I need somebody to watch over her. She might have a dog passenger. Well, I just been watching Dexter too much. I'm sorry.
I just love that they brag about these things. Like,
hold on, but she bragged about killing a puppy and a goat. Are you for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in her memoir.
Because on farms, you have to make these tough decisions.
In the same book, I think, where in one of the drafts, she lied about meeting Kim Jong-un. Like, lying about meeting the leader of North Korea is not even the most offensive thing she's done.
Well, I'm lying about meeting a dictator. Let me say that. Why does she lie? All right, man. These. All right.
Just one more side note on Bobby Kennedy. I don't know if anybody you probably read about this. In 2019, Bobby Kennedy was in Guam during their measles outbreak.
I thought it was Samoa.
Samoa. I'm sorry, you're right. Samoa. He was in Samoa.
So he got
86 people died due to the fact that he came in and told them not to get vaccinated and told them that he had some like homeopathic remedies, and 86 people, mostly adults, and mostly adults died.
Died too. Yeah.
Children, but a lot of adults died from it.
Yeah.
He came to visit, and then people died after he visited.
No, he went and lobbied the government and said, you can't give them the vaccination. You got to give them my product that saves lives. And he killed people, and he made money on it.
You can trust me. Look how well I'm doing. Don't I sound stable? Hey.
Listen, we all know Felon 47 wears diapers, but I'm convinced so does Bobby Smoker too, whatever you want to call him.
I'm gonna start calling him Bobby. Bobby, you got this.
Bobby, my man said that they were childhood friends from the playground, swing, from back in the day. Bobby.
I need to get a good Hank Hill impression going. Bobby.
God dang it, Bobby.
What are you doing, Bobby?
There's something wrong with that boy. He let loose an outbreak that killed an entire town. That boy ain't right.
I just woke up and that boy still ain't right.
In Mongolia, there is a type of animal called a marmot. Mistaken for a rat, marmots have, when consumed by humans, been known to cause outbreaks of bubonic plague.
Oh, shit.
So who better than to showcase in a travel docu-video on YouTube than the namesake of the President of the United States? Watch Donald Trump Jr. examine the lives of locals who eat marmot meat in this clip.
Oh.
Guys, I'm going to go collect some firewood, okay? Horseshit. Yeah, by the way, the Mongols, they are way ahead of the time in terms of renewable resources. They've been using renewable resources to heat their homes for like centuries. It's quite impressive.
Oh.
Pretty awesome. So we're going to experience a pretty cool Mongolian tradition. Marmot is, I guess, a delicacy, and they were saying they've literally been doing this way for over 1,000 years, since basically Genghis Khan. Again, it's one of those traditions, they're totally a true delicacy, but actually is like illegal contraband. So I got to be really clear. You were with me the whole time. We did not shoot the marmot. It's kind of contrabandy, which feels kind of field ethos. But, those are the traditions. And just watching these guys, you see their face light up on this marmot meat. Absolutely awesome.
I'd like to think, in some way, that was the Mongolian version of punked.
I didn't learn a motherfucking thing from what he just said.
I have no idea what he was talking about.
These people live to be in front of a camera. Yeah, I
coked up, tooth veneered, psychotic.
Patrick Bateman slipped back.
Not just completely insane. He is completely delusional.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep thinking this, but I went to Greenland last year in August, and I'm going to go again this year. And I met not one person that was like, we'd like to give up our free health care and we'll have to worry about gun violence. And yeah, we'd like that. Sure, we'll become Americans. Like I met not one person. So,
You're not going to either.
no.
Especially now. We're going to make you better than you've ever been before. Don't worry, we're going to get you. Like, what do you mean?
Can we confirm? Was he holding horse shit?
It looked
Yeah,
like
he was. And
Yeah.
then he touched the guy. And then he touched the guy that same night. He said, "We weren't anywhere. I saw that."
In all fairness to him, he is horse shit. So what's the difference holding some more?
Shit holding shit.
I think I don't know what the whole video was, but I imagine he was trying to relay the fact that they use horse manure as to fuel their fire. So you cook your marmot meat over horse shit.
So
I know I've been to parts.
can you imagine how that shit tastes?
I can only
burn
imagine.
yak
If you don't get some goddamn what's that one the charcoal out of here? I'm not cooking over no shit.
I was in Nepal and they burn yak dung for that and for heat and for everything. So I've been places where they do that, but they're not like, they don't go around holding it and being like, woohoo, here's some yak dung.
Well, look at her as a country dropper.
Yeah, you said Greenland, then you said Nepal.
Yeah, I've been to Greenland and Nepal.
Waiting for you to say.
That's awesome.
Have you been to Switzerland?
We need to talk, Alyson, because I'd love to hear some of your stories.
Yeah, I love to travel.
Have you been to Switzerland?
No, but next week I'm going on a cruise. We'll go to Portugal, Spain, France, and Italy.
Oh,
fun!
Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I work for a nonprofit, but I can work from anywhere, and
that's a flex.
So I'll work on most of the boats, and I'll take lots of TikToks on it because I want.
Someone's doing well, you know.
Certainly not that yak shit.
I'm actually kind of glad we got a little sidetracked from that video because, like, I was a little concerned. Like at the end, like that video had somewhat homoerotic overtones.
It was late at night.
Nobody else talked, but
a cigar.
The guys did look like they were being held against their will too. So only he talked. The other guy looked too afraid to even agree. He goes, "This is good shit, right?" He goes, he looks kind of scared. So
it's like if I don't say yes, his dad will invade my country. Let me just go ahead and go along to get along, you know.
If I go along, his dad's gonna still invade my country. He's gonna still try either way.
And on that note, that's our show. I want to thank my panel, Polite Kitty, Sidney Allen, Alyson Chadwick, and David Kaye.
Ooh, thank you, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Always a pleasure.
This episode was written and hosted by Tom Myers with panelists Polite Kitty, Sidney Allen, Alyson Chadwick, and David Kaye. Theme music composed and arranged by Jeroen Hurck. Executive producers Tom Myers, Aaron Duspiva for Oddly Funny Productions, Matt Connarton for ipmNation, and Eddie Carson for Odyssey Radio. Please leave a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Tom Myers, for access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, and bonus clips. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for listening, and please visit tommyers.us.